These are the letters of the Reverend Samuel Rutherford from the 1600s. It is related that on first coming to the parish, there was a piece of ground on Moss Robin Farm where on Sabbath afternoon the people used to play at football. This is one of the most important sentences I have ever read in football history, because it specifically identifies the exact place the football pitch was. And if we can find it, then we will have the world's oldest known football pitch. I'm Ged O'Brien. I'm a football historian. I was president of the Association of Sports Historians, and I'm the founder of the Scottish Football Museum. I have always thought football has been played in Scotland for hundreds of years, not mob football, proper football. And of course, it's always been very hard to prove it because working people never kept records.
I'm Phil Richardson, and I'm an archaeologist at Archaeology Scotland. A couple of years ago, I met a historian called Ged O'Brien who introduced us to a source he'd read about a football game in Anworth, and we wanted to know whether that location was correct.
I came across references to a minister called Samuel Rutherford at Anworth Old Church in 1627. He is enraged by the fact that his parishioners played football every Sunday. So one day he heads out after doing his preaching to actually remonstrate with them and say that as the stones around him were his witness, they were doing wrong. So if we can find the stones, we are looking at the football pitch on which they played more than 4 centuries ago.
My name's Kieran and I'm an archaeologist. Rutherford got the parishioners to move a sort of line of stones across the pitch to stop people playing football. And just behind me, there's this line of about 14 odd stones that cut across this flatter area.
Because the story goes that the stones were moved, what we're trying to work out is what are the stones sitting on? Are they sitting on topsoil, vegetation? So stratigraphically, we should be able to tell if they've been moved and rested on a ground surface, or they're buried in the ground deeper and therefore potentially older. So that's what we're after here. It's a little square I'm going to cut and then see what we find.
I am really hopeful that they are going to be able to precisely say where the football pitch was. There are serious implications for historians because they're going to have to rewrite everything they think they know. In the history books, football is mob football. It's chaos, people drunk, it's anarchy. The traditional view of modern football is that it started in 1863 with a group of ex-public school boys from places like Eton and Harrow. Now, this is entirely and utterly mistaken because for hundreds of years, the Scots have been regularly playing football in Anworth and places like it, and we are going to prove it today. Looking at the map, there's 5 tracks leading to the edge of this site. So 400 years ago, everybody in a 10-mile radius knew where this was.
People would have walked to the church at Anworth, so it makes sense in terms of a meeting point for people to gather and to play football.
If you're playing regular football every Sunday of every year, you've got rules because you have to agree the rules. You couldn't play violent football because you needed to work on the Monday. So you're thinking about your football, you're playing regular football, and this is the ancestor, the grandparent of modern world football, and it's Scottish.
About 20 centimetres deep in this test pit here. What you have is evidence that the stone is floating. A little band of topsoil, There's a kind of gravelly subsoil underneath that, and what the stone is sitting on is a slightly clayer, what we call an all-ground surface. So I think this is one of the stones that was put here.
Right. Excellent.
This backs up the story that a barrier was put across an open space. It's not about stock control, it's not about agriculture, it's not about land boundaries and ownership. This is not a wall, it's a temporary barrier to stop a particular event happening, in its case, football.
You do get that sense of it being a kind of, almost like a natural amphitheatre. Putting together all the sources, being here in the landscape, seeing how it all pieces together, all of those things kind of corroborate one another.
This is one of my great days ever, because we're stood on the proof that we need to show that Scotland invented modern world football. In 1872, the minute international football started, Scottish clubs were absolutely destroying English teams. It is absolutely no surprise. These people are 200 years in front of what England is doing. Anwath is going to be one of the cornerstones of the new world history of football. This is a place that the locals specifically chose as a football pitch, and I've got the evidence. It's the start of a narrative which runs through to today, because the game they played is the game everybody plays everywhere in the world. So you can be up the side of a mountain in the Himalayas watching a football game, and the ghosts of Anwath will be watching.